Cause it's time for the mind to join the self inside this third dimension. Just like gladiators battling on TV talk show drama, politician preaching, drowning dualistic instant karma. Human living light gonna shine, blind all the rules to the black and white line. Balance it on image, that's the third side of the coin. Antithesis and thesis are created by the tongue and shattered. Words confined like prison bars turn sideways, become rungs on ladders. Many well-intentioned teachers try, but they have lied, because I'm not speaking in metaphor. A coin really has three sides. Human living light gonna shine, blind all the rules to the black and white line. Balance it on image, that's the third side of the coin.
Time is running out for the planet Earth. You are a robot. You don't expect me to believe that, do you? Time is running out for the planet Earth.
There's Father and there's Son, but Holy Ghost, he has the answer. For bipolar dimension, people spreading 2D cancer. Take this coin inside your hand, and now you'll never have to doubt it. No more need for fundamented warfare, nothing fair about it. Human living light gonna shine, blind all the rules to the black and white line. Balance it on ending, that's the third side of. You know, it really does have three sides.
I awoke in my cage with this coin in my hand and a voice in my head I could now understand. He gave me nothing, and no thing was the greatest gift.
Here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there.
There was one?
There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Yeah, all right. Maybe just a small case of the Mondays. And a happy Monday to you all. Welcome to the IRONWORX right here on freeworld.fm. It is Josh and Zack hanging out with you this morning. Near as we can determine between the two of us. Walt may have already told us where he's gone, where he will be. Trouble is, we're both potheads.
I have that great of a memory, folks.
Yeah. Don't have very good memories. So we think that's probably where he's going to be, is getting another kitty fixed. Pretty sure he had an 8 a.m. appointment to get some cats fixed. So he was going to try to get as much sleep as possible. So we're not expecting Walter to be with us this morning. But a big shout out.
I think that's right.
I think that is.
We're gonna have to get Liz. Liz will let us know.
So how was your weekend?
Oh, it was a nice weekend. Beautiful weather here. Man, just gorgeous. It was like 80 degrees yesterday. We got a lot done, just a lot of good exercising and stuff like that. Almost done with that house. Finished that guest bedroom. It was a pain in the butt. I cannot stand painting vaulted ceilings.
You know,
It's
just
just
residential painting in general, I can't stand. Maybe it's because I've done it poorly for so long that it's just ingrained in me that it sucks. But like, I hate having to tape shit off. I hate having to cut shit in. I hate having to roll it on big swaths of wall over and over. I just not.
yeah. I would definitely wouldn't want to do it for a profession. I'm pretty good at it though. I guess I've been told. I don't know. You just put the paint on the roller and roll it on the wall and make sure it covers it all.
That's all.
I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't.
Yeah, almost done. Now it's just we're done changing colors. Now the color that the whole house was is going to be the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, and two little hallways. So we're going to get the exact same color. Gonna one coat it like a touch up, nice shiny. I'll do all the edging and all that kind of stuff still, you know, do it nice. But yeah, that'll be so much easier. This paint nowadays is, I don't know, it's different. Like the white paint is fine, no problem. But as soon as you start getting into these weird colors, it I don't know, I've never seen paint do this before. You'll roll over, you'll put a roller on, you'll make a stripe or whatnot, and then you go to put the next one on, and if you touch that other stripe at all, it like pulls the paint right off the wall. Man, I'm just like rhyming this morning. This is crazy. Not meaning to do this. Yeah, I don't know. It was really weird. I never had that issue before, and then I'd have to go back and do a lot of touching up, and yeah, it was just like the primer didn't do that. The primer's fine. I don't know if it's the satin finish, maybe. I don't know. It's where paint, it's like, you have all the different shininess to it, the super gloss, whatever, matte, flat, blah, 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 blah. And now there's like 6 different kinds of, not the gloss and all that. That's one thing. Now there's 6 different, and this one has this kind of protection, and this one has this, and this one does that, and this one, like it's paint on the wall. But the cheap one's 36 a can, and the expensive one is 78 a can. It's like, oh my God, you people, this is ridiculous. It's paint. Yeah, on a wall. That's it. I don't know. Almost done with it though. How was your weekend?
It was good and quiet. Yeah, it was real nice here too. It was probably right around 80s ish, but everything was real quiet around here. Thankfully, about time. I'd say Harris is back to 98%. He's real close. And I guess if you figure he lost a tooth in the whole ordeal, he'll never be back to 100%. Emotionally and psychologically, I think he's real. Yeah, other than that, there wasn't a whole lot going on. Made it over to the in-laws last night for a little Easter dinner. Nice, I suppose. Nice and quiet. Other than that, that's about it.
Nice.
YouTube chats back up on the screen for some reason. Stopped reading them. Had to reset everything.
Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. Walter's usually our chat guy who does all that kind of stuff. Oh man, I'm still waking up. Can't believe it. I fell asleep early. I've been I don't know, like 8:45 anymore. I'm like, I'm tired. I'm ready to lay down. Didn't get a nap yesterday. We cleaned the back porch area. Like we did the siding right in underneath in there because it's no sun ever hits there. It's on the north side of the house and
Get a little mold.
yeah, up in the corners and all that kind of stuff. And that was like the spot that got it the worst was back in there. So we scrubbed and cleaned and swept and did all that kind of good fun stuff. Looking nice down there.
Yeah, I spent time as a mobile power washer once upon a time. And after we got done doing our commercial stuff, we'd go do some residential stuff. But that was the main thing we used was this stuff called BL4. Now, mind you, it just killed all the mold and things like that. Because really it was, well, BL, and then there were 4 letters afterward, EACH. And that was really what we'd put into the sprayers. We'd cut it like half and half, 25% bleach, 25% bleach, and 75% water. And you just spray the house down and let it sit for a few minutes, and it sprays right off. But that was our big secret concoction.
Secret.
Was the BL4.
The BL4, I love that. BL4, I've never heard that before. So we have, oh no, that's not today. Only the first, 1 week.
For what?
For the eclipse. Sorry, I saw a message pop up. So the audio isn't great on YouTube.
Yes, that's right. The audio will never be great on YouTube. If you like great audio, head on over to freeworld.fm. Check us out over there. We got better chat over there on freeworld.fm.
Yeah, we do. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, I just saw, I'm just skimming through some articles. Might have to come back to this one, but human activities are changing Earth's spin so much that it might affect how we keep time.
Okay, sure.
Too many fidget spinners out there going.
Too many people running in the same direction.
Mhm.
We need to mandate half of them turn around and run backwards.
Do you see all this people talking about the bridge now? About how it was possibly an attack and this and that and yada, yada, yada. Like they are really trying to push people towards the bridge and don't look at Kanye or what's his name? Diddy and the pedophilia rings being busted and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that I hear them even talking about either.
Yeah, it makes you want, well, I'm not seeing a whole lot of Diddy talk on the news. I'm seeing all that on YouTube. For the most part.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, I don't know. I don't watch regular TV. I wouldn't see it on the news anyway. See, I don't know.
Yeah, like on Google, like on the Google things, I haven't seen one thing about. I think there was one day when the raids happened. They were just saying his house is being raided, yada yada yada, and then that was it. They were done covering it. I don't know.
Well, apparently it's only my audio.
What?
And there's a
I
good
don't know.
chance. I do tend to keep my gain turned down a little bit. This will probably help me coming in and out somewhat. But if you hear any background noise, that's probably going to be why.
All right.
But no, I forgot. My levels were turned down. I saw Justin's note and Liz's note and just kind of assumed it was the general audio, in which case it's to be expected that it's not the best. But if it's just me specifically, whereas Zack sounds good, then I know what that issue is. So hopefully that should have improved it.
So these damn
Right.
EVs, the electric vehicles, right? Okay, I get it. You updated your privacy policy. I hit accept. Quit showing me this. Thank you. Fortune.com. Ford is slashing 2/3 of employees at its F-150 Lightning plant as its ambitious electric car plans sputter.
Last I heard, it was about $40,000. $40,000 for each truck that Ford would lose for every Lightning that they sold, due to the government rebates and just trying to slash prices so that people will fucking buy them.
That's ridiculous.
$40,000 per truck.
Yeah, it sounds like a great business opportunity there, Ford. I mean, I get that common people, buy into the whole climate change and all this, yada, 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 and don't mind, losing money to save planet Earth, right? But these are supposed to be the blood-sucking lawyer corporate people. Why are they going for this? I guess this money really isn't the thing for them. But to the investors, the people owning the stock, to the 2/3 of the people that just lost their jobs, it's not just an assembly line plant that's being closed down. This is like their livelihoods. And for people to go around and fuck with other people's livelihood to push some agenda when your job is to make them money, businesses and government working together is never a good idea like this, ever. I mean, yeah, governments can put restrictions and this and that and blah, 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 blah. But a business to lose $40,000 for every piece that it sells, to lose 40 grand because you're pushing this agenda, and that's like the bottom line. But they don't care, because don't worry, the banks we're printing money like crazy. Do you hear what the Fed said?
No.
Oh, stop borrowing money from each other, banks. You're showing your weaknesses. Just come borrow money from us.
A bank.
Right.
A conglomerate
So,
of banks.
The presses are fired up. Do you know how much it takes us to go $1 trillion more in debt? Not 1 billion, $1 trillion into debt. How long do you think it takes to add another $1 trillion to the United States debt?
About 47 seconds.
No, it's a little bit longer than that. But every 100 days, we add another $1 trillion to our debt. That's insanity. So in 100 days from now, there's going to be $1 trillion more dollars in circulation with nothing extra to back it. So that means the money in your hand right now, if you have a US dollar in your hand, it's going to be worth less money every second you're holding it. Every second you're holding it, that thing gets worth less and less and less and less. $1 trillion every 100 days. Let's break that down. I haven't done it yet. I didn't want to. I didn't want to know. We got 1,000. We got 1,000,000. We got 1 billion. And then we got 1 trillion. That's a lot of zeros.
A lot of zeros.
12 zeros. We're going to divide that by 100 days.
That's like $500 billion every 50 days.
And we'll divide that by 24 hours. So that's an hour. Then we'll divide that by 60. That's a minute. Wow. Do we do it down to the second? Okay, every minute. 6,944,444.44 every minute. Almost $7 million is added to our debt. Every minute, $7 million. That's crazy. That's $115,000 a second. Every second, boom, 115 grand. Boom, 115 grand. Boom, 115 grand. What? How? What did we just spend that money on? That is insanity. Oh, we're doing fine. Yeah, everything's good here. 2008 was nothing. But the way they're doing things now, it's no longer quantitative easing. Remember when they were calling it that? Quantitative easing, they called it. That's a pretty name.
Yeah, it is. It's like it's how you introduce anal sex. Quantitative easing, just a little bit at a time.
Okay, I got
A little too early for this. Sorry.
I was just gonna go even deeper,
so to speak.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you don't have Walter to keep us in check.
I know. It's Walter's fault.
Blame it on Walt.
From SpaceX entered orbit. No. Okay. New satellites in space. Blah, 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 blah. I can't believe that. $115,000 a second. Just blows my mind. When I heard that guy say that, I had to go look it up. It's like, really? $1 trillion every 100 days? Yeah, it's crazy how fast it's going now. It can't be stopped. And when these banks that are too big to fail are failing, I don't know. Microsoft and OpenAI reportedly building $100 billion secret supercomputer to train advanced AI. A secret supercomputer. Yeah.
As reported in the news.
About it.
Right.
Yeah. The super secret supercomputer Sure. These OPs. Yeah, there was I think this was in France, maybe England. 640-year-old castle with a moat found under a hotel. They were doing renovations or something like that. They started finding foundation and they found a moat and yeah.
Then they found the whole goddamn castle, huh? The whole fucking castle just sitting there right underneath the hotel. Didn't even dawn on them. They were building a hotel that we're building this right atop of a castle with a moat. No. Didn't even dawn on them. I bet
a lot of that stuff happens over there.
Oh, I bet it does. I bet you they realize it, though. They just figure out.
Yeah, they don't say a word.
Mm-hmm.
No, construction companies have been screwed out of money so many times, probably. Oh, yeah, let's call in the archaeologists so they can come in and shut down our work site and we don't get to work for, ever again here on this site. We just lost that job. Yeah, I'm sure that they find stuff and they're like, yeah, nope, bloop. Yeah, in Vannes, Vannes, I could be, totally saying that wrong. France. It was built by John IV, the Conqueror, in the 1380s. Huh.
Who'd have thunk it?
Huh. These geothermal power projects, I mean, it's a great idea, but doesn't it, we were saying before, this goes against their whole climate change agenda? Like, we're trying to cool the place because it's, or at least not dramatically change the climate. So you're going to take all the heat from inside the earth and move it to the outside of the earth to spin your turbines. Hey, I get it. It makes sense. But isn't that going to make it hot more? I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
For sure.
Planting trees in wrong places heats the planet. What do you find? Good Lord. So these articles are right next to each other. Company behind groundbreaking new geothermal power plant releases video, and then planting trees in the wrong place heats up the planet. But next to the geothermal power plant, is that where the trees are making it heat up too much? I don't know. I don't know, Josh.
I don't know. I wish I had some kind of like every time I look up, shit's just stupider than it was the day before.
That young man that went around teaching people how to squat in people's houses to take over their houses and stuff. Yeah, he got caught by ice. Showed another video of himself bawling and crying. I didn't mean to. I didn't. Blah, 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 blah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, you don't get to do that. You made a video of yourself, moron. Oh, my goodness.
Fucking people.
Bucket of cosmic Easter eggs. Hubble Space Telescope finds a bucket of cosmic Easter eggs.
Why?
500 blue and red stars.
Well, I do believe it is that time.
It is that time.
So we're going to take a little break. We'll be back right after this for the second half of the first half of the Ironworks.
Show me your peace sign when there's no sign of peace. From the north to the south to the west to the east. From the top 1% to every man on the street, every woman rising up and every child in the Middle East. It's the little things in this great big world. And it don't matter if you're a boy or a girl. And it don't matter if you're someone in between. I know you know what I mean. I wanna be standing next to you, standing next to you. When revolution comes, when revolution comes, I wanna be standing next to you, standing next to you. When the revolution comes, when the revolution comes, show me your peace sign when there's no sign of love. You just can't sweep it down under the rug. Too many guns, too many drugs. I got an olive branch, I need a dove. Cause I was born with every blood up in my veins. Every country you could visit, every city you could name. Everyone is different and everyone's the same. I know you know what I'm saying. I wanna be standing next to you, standing next to you. When the revolution comes, when the revolution comes, I wanna be standing next to you, standing next to you. When the revolution comes, when the revolution comes. Hey, show me your peace sign, everybody say hey. 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 Show me your peace sign, everybody say. Show me your peace sign when there's no sign of love. You just can't sweep hate down under the rug. Too many guns, so many drugs. I know you know what I mean. I wanna be standing next to you, standing next to you. When the revolution comes, when the revolution comes, I wanna be standing next to you, standing next to you. When the revolution comes, when the revolution comes. Hey, show me your peace sign, everybody say hey. 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 Put your arms around me. Put your arms around me. When the revolution comes. Wake up, it's a brand new day.
And welcome back. Second half of the first half of the Ironworks right here on freeworld.fm. Kicking off, that's little Michael Franti and Spearhead, I do believe. Song called Show Me Your Peace Sign. Yes, I was correct. And Spearhead.
Nice. I like that.
That was nice. Nice little chill song.
So, allegedly,
Wait for it.
Allegedly.
Oklahoma State Patrol says it is diverting traffic after a barge hit a bridge. Another barge hit another bridge, now on the Arkansas River. And AP News is flipping out on me, or my phone is, one or the other. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Another barge.
So, once upon a time, we had here in St. Louis on the Mississippi River, we had a big riverboat casino as part of the gambling stipulations. You couldn't.
Yeah, you can't have them on land, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So we could have them on boats. So we had this big old, I don't even remember the name of it. This was early on. So, of course, it was just chock full of gamblers. And I guess
Is it a blue chip?
I'm not sure.
That's the ones we had in Indiana were the blue chip casinos on the water.
I don't
Yeah.
think it was blue chip. Casino Queen, or I forget exactly. But it was full of gamblers when it broke free of its moorings and went floating on down the Mississippi River.
Oh, so yours actually moved. Most of them in Indiana didn't move.
Well, they wasn't
They'd
supposed to.
go 2 feet out or something like that. And they put the red line up so you couldn't get on it while it's out.
Right.
Even though it's right there, you could just hop onto it, no problem. But yeah, they'd have the red rope up, closing it off, saying, "Nope, we're not in port right now." And then they changed that real quick, and they just had it to where the red thing was always open, and it was always able to be boarded. And yeah, there was some law and stipulation. They had to be away from the dock, so many hours of the day, blah, 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 something like that. They were trying to make it harder, for people to gamble.
Well, I mean, this one, I'm sure it did move a little bit, but when it broke free of its moorings and just started drifting down the Mississippi River, shit got a little crazy. Like, it took one of those tugboat operators, like a rescue mission, and he went hauling ass off down the Mississippi River to try to catch it and block it and stop it. And it was just very close to taking out a bridge and probably sinking the whole ship. And they said if that particular ship would have gone down, it had been worse disaster than the Titanic because there were so many people on board. That's what they say anyway. I don't know. Who the hell?
This is from notebookcheck.net. Tesla Cybertruck teardown finds Mexican parts and launch quality as it demos wire steering. What?
And launch quality while it demos wire steering?
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck that combination of words mean.
The first teardown of the Cybertruck reveals some of the Mexican-made components that Tesla's Westmoreland tipped. The seats of the Cybertruck are directly mounted to the structural 4680 battery pack that serves as the pickup floor. Tesla's lead Cybertruck engineer, Westmoreland, recently said that along with the Model Y, the electric pickup is the most made-in-America vehicle sold in the U.S. About 65% of the Cybertruck parts are made in the U.S. or Canada, and 25% come from Mexico. The Model Y is also 90% North American, but with 20% Mexican parts. Okay. I don't understand. I don't get it. Gigacasting, all this blah, 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 blah. It's just it's an advertisement for the Cybertruck. We make all the parts in North America. Well, 90% of them. Okay. I've been seeing a lot of homes going up for sale for like $1. They just want people in the home that's going to try and fix it up.
I doubt that's even true. I think they want it off of their fucking ledgers. I think it's...
Yeah, that's what it is.
Fucking up their black or their green ink, causing too much red. So they'll let it go for $100,000 would have been great, but fuck, since nobody wants that, just give me $1 so I can get it off my books.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in a flood zone. Yeah, the foundation is shot and the roof is shot. But hey, it's $1.
Mm-hmm.
It's only $1. It's only going to cost you $400,000. for a $200,000 house.
So in Georgia, Squatters Reform Act gives property owners more rights. So the Squatters Reform Act aims to give property owners more rights to evict those who have illegally taken possession of a home. South Fulton, Georgia. Property owners in Georgia who are dealing with squatters are finally getting help after reform was passed in the state legislature. The Squatters Reform Act aims to give property owners more rights to evict those who have illegally taken possession of a home. For years, many have said squatters have had more rights than those who had actually owned the property. One community shared its struggle to deal with squatters with 11 alive and said this reform couldn't come soon enough. In quotations, this one of our problem houses right here. This one of our problem houses right here. With the drug dealing and shooting inside the house, gunshots, broken out glass. Hampton Oaks Homeowners Association President Mel Caton said. Caton said squatters had plagued his community, and at one point, 18 homes had been taken over illegally. Jeez. Even in a big community, 18 homes is a lot of homes. What's happening is the people get companies to buy the property for them, and when they can't afford it, they move out. So then the squatters move in. People get companies to buy the property for them? You mean like a bank?
Right.
What does it mean? What are we talking about here?
Just one of those companies that's got lots of money on hand and they like to lend it out at interest to other people. One of those.
Yeah, okay. So the bank, okay, yeah. He also said squatters have not been neighborly. We actually had situations where we had armed robbers. We got a couple of prostitution rings going on, and we had a situation where we had drug dealing going on. Because of laws protecting squatters, Keaton said their HOA and the property owners have had difficulty evicting them, but the new act has changed that. It put some parameters to protect property owners, said Georgia Representative Misha Maynor. Right now, if there were a victim process, it could take months to get someone out of your home that you own. Now it will take 3 days. In addition, Maynor said squatters will now be held financially liable to speed up the eviction process. They also must pay rent for all the time that they were in the property and for any damages. It's added that squatters who make up fake rental agreements could be charged with a misdemeanor and jailed for up to a year. Now, isn't that considered fraud? Shouldn't that be a felony?
I would think.
I mean, you're making fake documents and passing them off as legal binding. Yeah, that's kind of serious. Just saying. Excuse me. News. Excuse me. News that Hampton Oaks residents, whose homes value $450K to $600K, said couldn't come soon enough. This was a beautiful neighborhood, and it feels terrible to know something like this could happen. And someone could actually commit burglary and legally have the right to help them stay in the house. Goodness. Okay. I love seeing these signs. Vince the sign guy. That's Cami's brother. I know this guy. And there's advertisements for his stuff like everywhere. That's awesome. like old dad puns. Yeah, I have to show that to Cami. But yeah, there you go. They're not messing around in Georgia anymore. Now those are state to state, right? The laws.
Believe so. I believe those are all
That kind of covering that stuff.
state specific, I think.
Yeah, I remember in Illinois when they had passed all those new laws that went into effect, the sheriffs were telling people, hey, if you got a squatter, there's nothing we can do about it. Don't call us. I mean, you can call us, but you can give them a ticket. That's what we can do. We're not allowed to physically remove them from your property, and they know this. Just crazy.
That is crazy. It's kind of mind-boggling. I mean,
I've never squatted. I mean, I partied in houses I wasn't supposed to be in, like houses that weren't finished and whatnot, when they were just building up the neighborhood next to one of my friends' neighborhoods. We used to go and drink in the unfinished houses and stuff like that.
mm-hmm.
But, there was no doors on them, and, no windows in them and stuff like that. No carpet down or nothing, no paint on the walls. We did stupid stuff like that. But I've never just gone into somebody else's house that I didn't, have permission in some sort of way. Just didn't feel right. You ever have any of that? I don't even know people that did stuff like that. Like back in school when we were young and dumb. And we had a lot of places that weren't, that were just like kind of country. So we didn't have to go find a building like that to go into. We had all kinds of fields and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, friends that had pool houses or whatever, like the pool shed. Grandpa's work shed out back. There's all kinds of places you could go to hide from the adults to do your mischievous deeds. Yeah, I never had to go into somebody's house without permission and stuff like that. I don't know. I always liked the rush of certain things, but I didn't like, it just felt wrong being on somebody's property, private property, without their permission. Now, big corporations and companies and stuff, yada, 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 I didn't treat them with nearly as much respect back in the day. Now, of course, I do. But before I turned 18, I was kind of a hoodlum. But it was never, against a person. It was always against the corporations, the big money people and stuff like that. It was never against, even if they were loaded rich, it wasn't against mom and pop, ever. That felt horribly, horribly wrong. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Billington and Jet says field parties were popular by me growing up. Yeah, I went to many a field party. 35 trucks in a circle with their headlights on. Spotlights.
One of them stuck out in the cornfield.
Uh-huh. Got a mud pit out there. Yep.
Yeah. Everybody else trying to pull them out with chains and stuff. Oh, some angry old farmers at like 1 a.m. coming out to the field, screaming their heads off. Their son getting his brand new pickup truck just stuck. Like tire spinning, thing ain't moving nowhere. floorboard resting on the ground.
Mhm.
You know, it's like 6 inches down in the mud itself.
Yeah, you step out and you're like on the ground. There's no stepping down anymore. It's just
No, there is no stepping down. It's like you're lucky to open the door. You better get out now. Stop stepping on the gas. Just stop. You ain't going forward or backward. You're just going down. Kinds of news coming out of Oklahoma. Governor Stitt signs changes to Oklahoma hunting fishing licenses. State leaders said the overhaul will make the process simpler for everyone. I don't even know what the fishing license costs here in South Carolina. Isn't it though? I don't know. It could be a state thing as well. But as long as if you're fishing on private property, you don't need a license.
I think that's right. I don't know though. Like even hunting, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, I know a farmer can hunt on their property to protect their crop. At least in Indiana, that was a thing. I don't know how many deer they were allowed to take or whatnot, but okay, so state leaders said the overhaul will make the process simpler for everyone, and it's the first time any significant change has been made to it in more than 20 years. In quotations, this is going to be a big win for the constituents and the wildlife department, said Mika Holmes with the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation. Over the years, we have gotten to, frankly, a mess. More than 50 current hunting and fishing licenses will be consolidated into just 15. It also defines youth as anyone younger than 18 years old. So wow, 50 different fishing and hunting licenses in Oklahoma. Now, like in Indiana, we had stamps. Like you would get your fishing license, and that would cover your basic type of fishing stuff. And then you could get what was called a trout stamp, which would allow you to go trout fishing and this and that kind of stuff in certain waterways and whatnot. But yeah, there was, if you wanted to go a certain type of fishing, you had to get a certain type of stamp. At least that's how it was in Indiana. It also creates a single youth super license. And then they also had them, they did away with them, but they had lifetime licenses that were like $500, I think, back in the day. And a lot of people, a lot of grandparents would get those for their grandsons as like a birthday present when you were young. Before, you would have to buy your license a la carte. You would have to buy a turkey license and a deer license and a duck license. Now, what we created is called a super license. With the change. With the changes also comes a difference in how much each license costs. In some cases, Holmes said it could cost more or less depending on what someone buys. The price for a lifetime license is rising from around $700 to more than $1,000. We expect this could bring in as much as $10 million. Changes go into effect January 1st or July 1st. Yeah, July 1st. Oklahoma's doing some changing. Yeah, I haven't even looked into hunting and fishing licenses in so long. It's been so long since I tied on a lure with the intent to catch a fish. I have one lure now. I used to have hundreds. And I took all the hooks off of it, and I just use it to go out there and walk the dog in the water. Just practice. See if I can get a fish to hit it. somebody was just talking about this. I think it was over on David Banner's channel. They were talking about fishing and, you know, going out there and catching fish with the rod and reel and the lures and all that stuff. It's kind of a game. You know, it's all that stuff isn't needed in all reality. The best way to catch fish is actually, it was illegal in Indiana. It's considered poaching. I'm not sure how it is all around the country, but we called it limb lining, where you just tie your line to a limb, a tree branch, put a hook on it, catch some kind of bug out in the field, wherever you're at, put it on there and throw it out in the water and come back in a couple hours and you'll have a fish just about every time. Not very sporting, not very, you know, that's poor man fishing right there. That's if you need to eat and you don't have time to go out and fish and catch all your fish and sit there and play and, you know, cast 100 times and look at all the pretty stuff and maybe not catch a fish. This is like a guaranteed way to catch a fish. A lot of people do multiple ones. Because you could come up and there could be a little, you know, a little 6-inch fish, a little small thing on there. Not going to feed many people. But yeah, that's the best way to go fishing.
Back in my day, I used to see people take the old crank telephones in the boat with them, and they just put the leads in the water and give that telephone box 3 or 4 good cranks and just watch the fucking fish float to the top.
Little electrocution.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that just sounds... Yeah, I've never done that. Never done dynamite.
Never done bow fishing either. Knew a couple guys that were real big into it, but...
Yeah. I had a buddy who was doing it for a little while. I don't think I ever saw him actually catch a fish.
Fucking
he has always missed. Yeah. So my one buddy would be like, no, dude, down, down, down. He's like, no way. No way. And then he'd go back to where he thought he was going to hit it. And I never saw him hit one. He only did it a few times, a few different days. But yeah, it's a trick. You got to know where that fish is in the water, because that whole refraction thing is going to throw you off big time. It looks like it's right there, but it's actually like down there.
Down
there. Yeah. That's where those polarized sunglasses come in handy real big. I had a pair of Bud Earhart. Remember that guy? He would always wear a Tennessee hat, Tennessee Volunteers hat.
Nope.
He had his own fishing show, Bud Earhart special.
Nope.
Big white hair, and he always had like, they looked like goggles almost. They were these huge glasses, but they came around and covered the side, and like light could not get in at all. Yeah, I love those glasses. I wore the crap out of those. They were so scratched up by the time I was done with them. Yeah, I gave that whole tackle box to my buddy and his children. He didn't even fish, but his son said he wanted to start fishing. There's like 8 rods and reels, and yeah, I used to be stupid with the old fishing tackle. You know, you could go and buy a rod back in the day for like $20 and a reel for, you know, 15. But not my rod. My rod was like at least $80, sometimes, you know, 150. They all had to be a certain, you know, it was like buying a guitar or buying a car. You had to go and test it. Not so much cast with it or this or that, but there's ways you could test it.
Got to check the drag.
When I'd go buy a rod, there was always be somebody with me. And I would hold the rod in my hand, and they would touch as lightly as they could the tip of the rod with their finger. And if you can't feel that, then that's not a good rod. You don't want that rod. That's how I would do it. Person would just take the tip of their finger and just barely touch that rod. And if I could feel that, then it's like, okay, yep, that's a good rod. And then, of course, the length and the width, you know, there's the medium, the light, the ultralight. Never did too many heavies. I did I think a medium heavy was my biggest one for my bait caster. That was for big fish. Yeah, I used to love fishing, man. I probably put a few grand into that tackle box. All the different gizmos and gadgets and whatnot.
I never was much of a fisherman. I've never had a fishing license. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I always did. Just in case. I think I've only showed it one time.
Oh, it is that time.
Fuck, not this asshole again.
Alright, superstar, hands on the steering wheel.
What's the fucking problem, man?
Any drugs or any weapons in the vehicle?
Kinda.
I'm Frank Babbitt, goddammit!
I know who you are.
I told you boys I got my eyes on you.
Man, lick these nuts.
What did you just say?
Why you gotta sweat up?
Yeah, I'll tell you why I'm sweating.
They say protect us, sir.
Hey, out of the car, on the ground,
handcuffed on the curb. Here's another tale from the sub-noise shot collar. Put it on the scale and we show you how to clock dollars. Banging down the block, got my system on hit. Fly ass bitch all over my dick. Take another hit of the crumbs and I bounce. Yeah, the Johnny Rich's house so I can score another ounce. Well, that's the way it is. I'm a cottonmouth king. Rolling through the birds, blowing big smoke rings. Cops on my tail, they in high pursuit. I got my 215, but no excuse for the loot. I'm holding over 10 G's, mostly big face bills. I got some more wars and a bottle of pills. I gotta think fast or I'm heading to the pokey. I banged a quick left and I did show smoky. Big blue by, didn't look my way. I must be higher than I thought. Today's a damn good day. Man, lick these nuts.
What did you just say?
Why you gotta sweat up?
I'll tell you why I'm sweating you.
They say protect us, sir.
Out of the car, on the ground, I'm done.
Handcuffed on the curb. I buy bacon, we don't need it on the streets. If a problem cracking off, I sure don't call the police. I'm calling snipers in your city code. Cops I smell, only trying to make a buck up off us, crooked as hell. I smashed on them by the simple fact I'm holding 30 pounds. Make my way up into Michigan, smoke it with the clowns. You are not dealing with illegal people, no longer safe or sound. Bullets are flying all over the place, and blood is soaking the ground. I'm shooting the hell out of Rugers and Glocks. You seeing them flattening flocks. I'm speeding away and heating the box. Beat rocks, we blaze some weed and flip a bitch up in a hurry fashion. And who now do I see? It's Biden and J, hatches flashing. I'm sick of swine in my area. Pigs all up in my biz.
What did you call me?
Police all together now, fuck them. They bet for sales in my distribution grid.
Dispatch, I got a 78 Cutlass sedan, smoke billowing out, 2 Caucasian males with face paint, license plate, ICP, run a check please.
Cruising down the street with the big fat hog. It's the Duke of the Weekend, Bonnie J, the big dog. Drinking Fago like a madman, yes I do. I'm screaming, fuck the police.
Fuck you too.
Well, if I see them lights flash, I'm fast to trip. With the Shokasugi backflip, I fatten that lip. Cause fuck going to the stone bone is what I say. I'd rather bury one of you butt nuggets away. I'm a wicked ass clown. With sniffs in the trunk. And when I grip the whip, you can sniff in the bum. Kid, cause where I'm from, it ain't about all that playing. No! Now that's what I'm saying. I hear the sirens blare. My axe in your hair, red mist in the air. In the middle of your donut tree is my meat. You can quote me now, bitch, cause I'm so sweet. I'm trying to roll this blunt.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll your clown ass.
What the fuck you want?
Is that a hat in the backseat?
Yeah, it's all fun and games till I saw your face off and choke your brains.
Looks like I got myself a little Richter here. Get out of the car, asswipe. I thought I told you I didn't want to see you. And some people never learn. If you run, I'm pulling steel.
Fuck you, motherfucker. Man, I just hate it when I start to blaze and see the blue and red behind my head. Now they're harassing me, asking me where I'm going, where I've been. There's people passing me, laughing, and now I'm starting to get upset. Why you harassing me, pig? Yeah, I gotta fuck you for the boys in blue and all the undercovers. Yeah, fuck you too. Got a big old bowl that fuck you soup. And this rap fuck gonna catch you soon. Keep your mouth sure. I'm stash go room, we might have to hunt you down. Touch soon, take out to the visible doom doom. Tryna fuck a police for a real big boom boom boom.
The police be coming straight from the lake. Up on the hill, you know we puffin' on the dank. And taking out the fake is what we do. We chucking rocks, you know, at your crew. We drinking brew, you know we getting tattooed. Yo, we killing sex in the afternoon. Talk about me, talk about who. You know, get this po-po out his blues.
Fuck the police, y'all make me sick. Fuck the police, y'all can suck my dick. Fuck the police, I'm on some weed shit. I'm saying fuck the police, coming straight from J. Rich.
Good morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, I'm afraid of course, there is no dark matter out there.
There was one?
There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
It's never too early to learn that the government is a greedy piglet that suckles on a taxpayer's teat until they have sore, chapped nipples.
Welcome back. First half of the second half of the IRONWORX right here at freeworld.fm, and I do believe that is the first time I played any ICP. Probably the second time, I think. Maybe I played any Cottonmouth Kings, but I think that was the first time I played ICP. And I figured I tried to spare you all.
That was the first ICP I heard in a while.
Yeah. They're still out there doing their thing. Mostly.
Still got juggalos floating around.
Oh, yeah.
Juggalo for life. That was a wild, wild album.
You'll still catch me wearing a Hatchet Man shirt on occasion. Catching a whoop whoop out there on occasion. Sorry, go ahead.
Do we know anybody from Turkey? I don't think I recall knowing anyone from Turkey.
It's possible. I don't know that I necessarily ask where everybody's from.
True. They're having some crazy stuff with their elections over there, like a big swing in their political right now. The guy that's over there has been president for like 20 years or whatever. And he's president till 2028. He just won an election or something like that. But I guess over there in the cities, like their big cities, all of the political opponents now are winning their big cities. And I guess like Istanbul has over 16 million people in it. I didn't know that.
Well, it used to be Constantinople.
That's a lot of people. 16 mil. But yeah, apparently, like a lot of their big major cities are going in the way of the opposition. See, I know nothing about Turkish politics. They're just saying these are historic victories. There's a tide turning in Turkey. Keep an eye on that. Ukraine aid. Yep, $115,000. Second. That just blows my mind.
You sound like a jive turkey.
Jive turkey.
Some of these aren't very good at all.
So it says that
turkey.
a couple lived in Disneyland for 16 years without anyone noticing.
I call horseshit.
Yeah, me too. Living at Disneyland might seem like a dream for some Disney fanatics, but alas, apart from the fact that it would be fairly expensive, it's also impossible.
Impossible.
However,
it's impossible.
Yeah. But, however, in the past, one couple, Owen and Dolly Pope, actually managed to live on the Disneyland premises for 16 years without any visitors ever noticing.
Yes, because living in Disneyland is impossible, as we just stated. It's impossible. There's no possibility that a person could live in Disneyland. Impossible. In fact, it's so impossible. Here's a story of a couple that did it for 16 years.
In 1950, in Anaheim, Walt Disney was working on what was to become one of his biggest projects. So then I got to add a little bit of cinnamon to the coffee. The opening of the first ever Disneyland theme park. As is to be expected, Disney surrounded himself with a team of capable employees to make sure everything went according to plan. And one of them, Disney Imagineer Harper Golf, attended a horse show by Owen and Dolly Pope at the Pan Pacific Auditorium in Los Angeles. As he was impressed by their craftsmanship, he suggested Disney go and see the show for himself. After having done so, Walt Disney asked for a meeting with the couple for a project he was working on, which turned out to be Disneyland. More specifically, he wanted to integrate small ponies and other animals and everything that came with them in the park. The couple accepted his offer and moved into Walt Disney Studio in Burbank in 1951 in order to be next door to set up everything for the animals and to take care of them. As the opening of the park was approaching, the couple was asked to actually move to the Disneyland premises to be even closer to the ponies. They got to pick a prefabricated Disney house of their choosing and eventually went for a 176 square meters ranch known as the Winter Hill Bungalow, to which they moved 3 days before the opening of the park. It was located just behind the pony farm, and even though they would live there until 1971, when they moved to Florida, no visitors ever noticed this house was being lived in. So they didn't live there without Disney's permission. They just lived without visitors noticing. That's kind of...
They lived in Disneyland for 16 years is much better headline than Disneyland had a caretaker.
Yeah. None of the guests knew that I worked for Disney and lived here. Okay. That makes it a lot less, magical.
Right. I bet you there's lots of people that worked for Disney that nobody even knew about.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a secret. I was watching the thing on Disney where he had a bunch of houses there where he was hoping that everybody that worked at the park actually lived at the park as well. He had a big, neighborhood in Disneyland. Nowadays, the pony farm no longer exists, and the Pope's house can't be found anywhere in the park. However, it sits in the backstage area and is sometimes used for events. Owen and Dolly Pope would become one of the first employees to retire from Disneyland in 1971, and according to SF Gate, Owen Pope still has an honorary window on Main Street, USA, in the Magic Kingdom. Well, that story turned into a, hey, look at there's squatters that lived in Disneyland for 16 years too. Yeah, we worked at Disneyland for 16 years.
We retired from Disneyland. Yay! As much of a nothing burger as that story was, I've got one here from unilad.com that I thought was really interesting. Wow. Says here that Mars has been declared unsafe for humans to live.
What?
A proud and bold declaration by NASA. But Mars apparently has been declared unsafe for humans to live. But mainly it's...
Hey, can I? I'm just going to jump in real quick.
No, you're not, because I'm going to finish this headline because it's so important, because the reason they've declared that Mars is unsafe for humans and no one can live there is because no one can survive for any longer than 4 years. 4 years is the longest anybody can survive on Mars. That's why it is unsafe for humans. Thanks, NASA. Sorry, go ahead, Trev.
No, I was just going to say, I was just laughing out loud. So funny. Zach goes, what? That was just so funny.
Yeah, I can't quite wrap my brain around this headline myself.
4 years, huh?
4 years.
Why?
No one can live longer than 4 years.
Why?
Does it matter? I mean, if we're just making shit up, because Martians will eat you. I don't know. Because by then you'll have used up all of the
gravity.
There you go, gravity. Dark matter.
Evolution? I don't get it. Like, it's got to be the reason. Just 4 years.
Well, I'm kind of curious as to how they even determined 4 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
did humans die after 4 years? No, because there was nobody ever really up there.
How did they come to this conclusion?
You're going to try to make me realize, aren't you?
And it's all just numbers crunching, man. They just put in bullshit factors of, what are the odds of this? And if this were the case, what are the odds? And if this is the case, what are the odds? That's all that is, man. Like if Mars was like 25% of the Earth's atmosphere, what would survival rate be? AI, tell us that. Tell me things, Internet.
The Earth is flat. See? Like school in your hand. Why can I only live 4 years on Mars? Tell me, Internet. They found that human exposure to radiation threats, including particle radiation from the sun, distant stars, and galaxies, would exceed safe levels after 4 years on the planet.
Particle radiation from the sun?
Yep.
So on Mars, you're going to get hit by the sun, like pieces of the sun? Not like bright light, but like particles of the sun. Is that what I'm understanding? Sun particles are going to smash into you if you're on Mars?
Yep.
You get light, heat, and actual sun particles that collide into you. Interesting. Don't know if I've ever seen
Maybe
that.
they should have said tsunami sized solar waves.
Solar waves.
Because it's either a wave or a particle or something like that.
Or both. Or neither. Because science.
Water, fire, air, and dirt. Fucking magnets. How do they work? And I don't want to...
So that was about the closest to ICP that I've ever played on this show prior to this morning.
Oh.
Yep.
Has anyone tried to breathe in space before? Yeah, that's kind of a horrible question and answer, yes, actually. Unwillingly, the crew of the Soyuz 11 died of asphyxiation when their cabin depressurized during reentry. Now, putting aside space and all that, even going up above, 24,000 feet, you depressurize a cabin when you're up there, you're going to have a bad time. That's just how it is. Even those big planes, they can't go up there and just open a window and everything's okay. Yeah, everybody on board, that pressure is going to equalize real quick.
Suck the shirt right off a guy. That last one where the plane didn't bolt the plane door on or some shit, and it came flying off mid-flight. Almost sucked the little kid out, but it just sucked the shirt right off the guy sitting next to the door.
You hear the one about the pilot who got sucked through the front window?
Yeesh.
And they landed the plane and he lived? I'm pretty sure I may be wrong. I may be crazy, but I'm pretty sure the pilot lived. Let me see. After sucked through cockpit window. Yeah, an abrupt and explosive decompression resulting from the detached window propelled Captain Lancaster headfirst out of the ascending aircraft. Fortunately, he managed to snag his legs on the flight controls, preventing a complete ejection. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
You start getting sucked down, just kick your feet in and get them hooked onto something.
Wait. I'm a little bit dubious about this. So was this commercial?
Yeah.
So the guy wasn't even strapped in and he's taking off? I don't believe that. That's just irresponsible, right? But
17,000 feet.
Huh?
He was at 17,000 feet apparently, getting ready to land. He was on his way down.
Okay. So 17,000 feet. He's traveling how fast? Wouldn't that counteract? You're flying into the resistance, and then you're supposed to be getting sucked through the same. It would almost, to me, counterbalance each other. You know what I mean? He's getting sucked out, but wind is trying to get in because they're traveling so fast. You get what I'm saying?
Well, no, the wind is trying to get out, though. At first.
Whatever. I'm just saying, it just sounds fishy to me. That sounds a little bit. And then he just happens to fucking catch his toes. Whatever.
And
I call bullshit.
And he caught his toes on what, mind you? The flight controls?
Yeah.
So he caught his feet on the flight controls, and then what did they do? They landed. They landed the plane with him pulling back on the flight controls with his feet whilst being sucked out the window.
Now, it looks like the window came out and he hooked his legs by his knees through the top part of the window.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And he was being pulled back along the plane. I don't know how much of this I'm buying.
It was one of them.
Sounds like a story.
Mission Impossible 2 Tom Cruise stunt.
Yeah, there's a lot of them on here, though. After plane window, yeah, there's quite a few. It was a British Airways, allegedly. That's crazy.
Allegedly.
No, not allegedly.
So we could harness the unlimited vacuum energy in space. And once we do that, then we'll be able to finally reach light speed, it says.
I got an idea.
Should we harness unlimited vacuum energy? I mean, I don't know why this is so surprising. I mean, haven't we been trying to harness vacuum energy forever?
Well, yeah, Tesla's turbine.
Well, didn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
I think it just created energy from the use of a vacuum, This apparently is a whole separate sort of energy called vacuum energy. Unlimited energy. Unlimited vacuum energy. In space. There's no limit to the amount of vacuum energy there in space. Whatever the fuck that is. There's no limit to it. And if I gave two shits about popular mechanics, I'd be a member so that I could read that story, but I don't, so I'm not. I'm just going to sit here and laugh at your silly fucking notion of unlimited vacuum energy. You dumb bastard.
I got a way they could put that unlimited vacuum energy to use, along with their boring.
Ooh, look at you. Dirty, dirty boy.
You know how we're digging into the earth to get the geothermal heat? Well, if we didn't stop the tube at the surface, right, and we built the tube all the way up to space where it has the vacuum, then we'd have the heat going straight out to the vacuum, and there'd be even more of an updraft, and you could put a bunch of turbines in there, and we could power the whole planet.
And then we could put a white at the top and black at the bottom. And then just the difference in the temperature would keep it all spinning forever. And we could just power the entire world.
Forever.
Now, what if the pyramids were a power source? That were just pumping out electrical energy because they finally figured out how they could do this wireless energy. And after 40 or 50 years, they realized that living in a soup of wireless energy was not good for their DNA, and everybody started to die, and it was causing all sorts of problems. So they had to go through, and in the matter of the public health, had to destroy all of the wireless energy technologies up to and including the pyramid. What if they said no 5G? This is the Egyptian 5G, and they just said, fuck no, we don't want that. We don't want your wireless bullshit. We don't need faster communication speeds. We're just going to do away with it all. Dangerous. Harnessing that unlimited vacuum energy from space.
You know what? Listen, Josh, I find it so interesting, these ideas and concepts, because as you were talking, I was like visualizing this as if it were a documentary or a series or something like that. But so many times when I have these kinds of thoughts myself, and I really liked what you did with the Egyptian. If you thought of that yourself, that was really creative. but I thought, fuck, man, if we had the money, like we could create endless series of content on the past. You know what I mean? We could just create stories about all of these, alternative ways of understanding things. And to me, what you just described, I thought sounded like a really interesting concept that I would fucking tune in and watch that series for sure.
Or even just like a Black Mirror type. Go ahead, Zach.
I was just going to say, just think of the stories you could tell of it. The war that took place, because the people that realized it was bad for them and didn't want to do it anymore, against those who didn't care that it was bad for them because they loved what electricity does. They love their motors and their gizmos and gadgets. Yeah, you could go on there. That could be a long series. Sorry, Josh.
Bunch of fucking conspiracy theorists talking about how that wireless energy technology is going to kill us all. But yeah, do it like a Black Mirror type style. You don't really need a full episode of people destroying pyramids, but you could get one episode and establish that backstory, and enough to sort of place it into the context of the current dynamic.
The wars are still being fought right now. The elite are actually the good guys by running all these wires everywhere and not giving away the energy for free, because that would kill us all. No, there is some truth to what you're saying, though. They've used electric fields to, they found out that they could help plants at certain frequencies, or they could hurt the plant at a certain frequency, along with the bugs and I'm sure people if they were in there. So yeah, there is truth to saying that, an altered electric field, if not altered correctly, especially, can be very detrimental to your health. That's why I would love to know what it's like to live in the Earth's electric field, not this over-radiated, full of, you know, RF saturation, and there's all these different frequencies that are being broadcast everywhere, you know, human frequencies. I don't know if there's a quiet place on Earth where these things don't reach. I don't know. I know before we started using radios, North America, one of the most abundant birds in North America was the carrier pigeon. Billions of them. They said they would blacken out the sky when they would be flying over. Just thousands and thousands and thousands of them at a time. And then we started using radios. And for some reason, carrier pigeons just started falling out of the sky and dying all over the place. They couldn't explain it. Now carrier pigeons are pretty much extinct. They went from one of the most abundant animals in North America to becoming extinct very quickly. And it wasn't like they were hunted, you know, into extinction. I believe it was something that, you know, we did, these man-made devices, these technologies, if you want to call them that. Yeah, so who knows what we're doing to ourselves right now.
Right. That's what I think about a lot. What if cell phones are just like a slow-acting... what was that drug they used to give moms for morning sickness? Caused all the birth defects in like the 50s. I forget.
I don't know.
I usually know that.
Are you talking about thalidomide?
That's the one, thalidomide. The thalidomide babies. I mean, doctors didn't know what they were doing. Mothers didn't know what they were doing except taking the word of the doctor. But in the end, it messed up a whole lot of little kids. And
Is that the one that messed up their thyroids?
No, this was like severe physical birth defects. I mean, hell, it might have messed up their thyroids as well, but it was like severe physical deformities and crazy stuff's going on with the thalidomide baby. Maybe on the other side of the break, we'll throw up some pictures for the folks there on YouTube of a thalidomide baby. But since we did Cottonmouth Kings and ICP, here's going to be a little Echo and Chris Webby, both together on the same song called If the Noose Fits. This is the IRONWORX. We'll be right back. Stick around.
It's a celebration, bitches. Echo and Chris Webby. Real rap shit. Let's go.
I spit it grimier than most do it. Rap truest, I know the flow fluent. And no student at school, I was the most truant. Echo will ruin the way you listen to rap now. A boom bap kid that will murder your modern trap town. I got him rap now, Ricky Bobby on the beat. And shake and bake, it's a mistake if you're fucking with me. Bringing the heat, I'm not allowed in California now. The last time that I entered, I burned an entire city down. They still ignore the skill I'm bringing to the table. Disable pre-existing thoughts from the grave to the cradle. Nobody left to save you, I am the hero now. No superpowers, I just devoured these beats for now. Yeah, coming with the real and we don't back down. I see you talking in the street, but where you at now? I'm not about calling you out, but if the news fits, protect your neck, cause I'm back on my bullshit. Yeah, coming with the real and we don't back down. I'm with my goons playing shows in a packed house. I'm not about calling you out, but if the news fits, protect your neck, cause cause I'm back on my bullshit. Yeah, fuck anybody who said it would never be anything, Looking around and it's funny that none of y'all ever did anything, You do it for money, but all of this loving has really been taking me up. I'm broke as fuck, but I'm feeling like I'm $1,000,000. Yeah, it's deadly when Echo and Webby shut them down. These rappers nowadays, some Disney manufactured sound. And I'm more quitting, going big, yeah, I'm notorious. And killing every bill I'm on, this bastard isn't glorious. Ignoring us, but that's alright, I see the truth lucid. You really think you need the cloud to show your worth? Stupid. You got the skills to hang with giants in the booth, prove it. You want it raw, now they got me back up on my bullshit. Yeah, coming with the real and we don't back down. I see you talking in the street, but where you at now? I'm not about calling you out, but if the news fits, protecting that cause I'm back on my bullshit. Yeah, coming with the real and we don't back down. I'm with my goons playing shows in a packed house. I'm not about calling you out, but if the news fits, protecting that cause I'm back on my bullshit.
I've been the illest motherfucker since my mama hacking traction. Sharp as Hattori Hanzo, I'ma cut him into fractions. Chiropractor in action, the way I be snapping, I'm spitting till I'm fucking blue in the face. Dr. Manhattan, when they hit me for collabing, we gon' send them to the grave. And they gon' hear the echo like they yelling in the cave. And they gon' feel the web like they digging through the attic. And come across an arachnid, get bit, now they symptomatic. With cold sweats and the shakes, nervous system shutting down. That's the type of venom I'm coming with if you fuck around. Eddie Brock with a mix of Betty Crocker, the way I'm cooking, so you shouldn't, or you'll end up just a fossil in my footprint. I'm a bullet with a name on it, loaded with the aim on it, pointed at the wall behind you just to leave your brains on it. Artist with a fucking canvas full of blood stains on it. Grab the mic and spit some game on it. Webby.
Yeah, coming with the real and we don't back down. I see you talking in the street, but where you at now? I'm not about calling you out, but if the news fits, protecting that cause I'm back on my bullshit. Yeah, coming with the real and we don't back down. I'm with my goons playing shows in a packed house. I'm not about calling you out, but if the news fits, protecting that cause I'm back on my bullshit.
Media is so beautiful. I could eat it. You know, sometimes people come up to me, they say, "Hey, Chris." And I say, "What?" "Well, what would you say?" They say, "Hey, Chris." I say, "What?" They say, "How do you start your mornings?" I tell them, I say, you know, the boys over at IRONWORX, Josh, Walt, and Zack, or Good Times for All if you prefer, you know, if you need more iron in your diet, check them out Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, early in the morning, 5 to 7. Nothing, get up, do it. It's good for you.
Welcome back, fourth and final segment of the IRONWORX. And thanks for that, Trav. That was absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Not a bad walking. I do say so myself.
And it is so crazy that you sent that because I had literally just got done watching, maybe the day before, a quick little video on YouTube about Jay Moore. And Jay Moore talking about his walk-in impression and why he thinks his walk-in impression is better than anybody else's impression of Christopher Walken. And then you sent me that. It was like fucking weird. Good shit. Good shit.
Coinkydinks. Allegedly.
Let's see, the polar vortex is spinning backwards above the Arctic after a major reversal event, it says here. Not sure that makes sense. Just start spinning backwards. Because, you know, whatever.
Ever.
Oh, yeah, in just a few years, the moon will be getting some plants.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah. Humans first walked on the... Stupid-ass pop-ups. First walked on the moon July 20th, 1969. Now, in 2026? Is that what that says? That's a 6. In 2026, in just... what was that, 21 months, NASA is sending a new team out to the moon to attempt something they have never done before, planting moon plants to study how crops are able to fare under the environmental conditions on the moon.
Oh my God.
Lunar effects.
Like outside on the moon?
The study of these moon plants is all part of an experiment that NASA has dubbed LEAF, Lunar Effects on Agricultural Flora. This project will actually mark the first time that astronauts will have landed on the moon in over half a century, and while there, they will be constructing a mini greenhouse on the moon's surface to house the plants and enable NASA to study how well they are able to grow off of the Earth.
Now, they know plants need sunlight, right?
Well, they're just planted on the Earth-facing side. And
well, yeah, but that still gets dark for like, you know, at least a week at a time.
Yeah.
And they do understand like plants need like daylight and then nighttime and then daylight and then nighttime and kind of like a cycle. Like plants do things kind of like we do, you know, we sleep and we have a cycle. Plants also have a cycle.
I think that's agricultural misinformation, Zach. Next thing you know, you're going to tell me they need water too. You're going to tell me they have to have somebody up there watering the plants the whole time? Come on. It's 2026.
Oh my goodness.
This is 2026, Zach. We don't need light or water to grow plants anymore.
I mean, I know they've done crazy things with cannabis plants. Some pretty awesome things. Can you do a 24-hour light cycle?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it have to switch, though, eventually? For the plant to go through its processes? Like the light is a big part of it, isn't it?
Not necessarily. They have gotten to the point where they have genetically modified pot plants to the point that they will go into a flowering stage all by themselves. It's actually sort of crossbred with a ruderalis plant, is how it works. And then it auto flowers. Flowers all by itself. You don't have to change the light cycle or do anything.
Look at that.
What's up, Jonathan?
Hey, what's going on?
Man, it's a Monday. It's the Monday-est of Mondays. It was ever to Monday.
You know what I read over the weekend? And I'm sorry we didn't get to play yet. I can't wait to play Wildlands and Helldivers and all that stuff.
I'm a demon in Wildlands now, dude. Just saying.
The what?
I'm a demon with my drone in Wildlands.
I read over the weekend. I don't know if this is what this friggin', I don't know what you guys talked about today, but this April 8th thing is freaking me out with them shooting rockets at it and all this other crap and all these dates lining up and biblical stuff. Like it's off the, and then the planets aligning. There's like so many things stacked into one. And then NASA yesterday, they didn't come out directly, right? But the way this thing read, like they're admitting now that that the Earth might actually be flat.
What?
The way this thing read, the guy's summation at the end of it, he was like, he put all these things together, right? Like, for example, you remember when there used to be eclipses, like in the past, every eclipse, you could only see it in certain states, a certain location where it was happening over, right? And now, like, supposedly you'd be able to see this thing all over the United States, not just the path that it's on. So somebody said, like, this thing's bigger than what they're, alluding to. Like, it's not really the moon. Other people with astronomy and astrology are saying that it doesn't align with the path that it's taken. Like, it's too big. Like, the shadow's way too big. Somebody else pointed out that the shadow, I think it was David Weiss. He was saying it should only be 70 miles wide on average. And here it is covering this bigger path that, like I said, I can even see it in New Jersey, even though it's not coming over directly. And
so
it's like
120 miles wide now, which is like almost 50% added on.
Yeah, so somebody said, so the way this thing read, like you said, it was kind of read between the lines, is that this thing is I don't know if it's going to prove that the firmament is real. Like, you know, the whatever's deflecting the light or making this thing happen, it can only happen like in a dome-like setting because of they're talking about the angle of attack and the curvature of the dome and all this shit. And that NASA, you know, might have to reveal the truth about what's going, you know, that we might be right. And that there's some other anomaly going on. Maybe this is, you know, something interdimensional with CERN and all this other crap. I'll send you the article. Should I put the link in the Skype?
Yeah, that's wild.
All right, hold on a second.
Did we ever figure out why that lunar eclipse never happened that was scheduled to happen?
There was one that was happened a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never happened. We had people out there looking, recording, taking pictures of it, waiting for this lunar eclipse, and it never fucking happened.
Well, I can talk about that if you want.
Yes, would you?
So, you know, a buddy of mine told me that the eclipse was happening, and I was really surprised that I had never heard about it because, you know, the solar eclipse was coming up. But so then I looked up what I was, you know, I should be expecting, and I still have a screenshot of what Google said the eclipse would be. It was going to be a 99% total eclipse. That's what the image showed. Right? I showed it to two different people and I said, what kind of an eclipse would you expect to see? And they said, I'd expect to see like just a tiny, tiny little piece of the moon shining. Right? So I was expecting to see the whole thing. So when I set up, I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, set up everything, got my camera all right, zoomed in, and I could start to, and I saw at the very bottom, I could see the penumbra. You know, it was a very light shadow. So I thought it was starting and would build up and build up and build up from there, and it would just never happen. And I was just like, what is going on? It was just so weird. And then I guess the opposite is that that's what it was only supposed to be. It was just supposed to be that brush stroke, this light little haze. So it was the opposite. It should have been a 1% eclipse. That's what it should have been, or whatever. But that was my question. I'm like, how did NASA get that one wrong, guys? How was that? How did that happen?
There you go. Well, you just misinterpreted it. User error. But then I heard there was one that happened a few days later that was what they were expecting. I don't know.
There was, I want to know. I appreciate what Jonathan just brought up because I've thought about this. You know, we get distracted by the moon being in the you know, as the cause of the solar eclipse. And we all say, oh, we can't see the moon approaching and all this kind of other stuff. I get that. But I was always thinking at the same time, I'm like, what if there is a planetary alignment there so that it's in the same proximity as the moon and the sun at the same time, but it's not the moon, it's that other celestial body.
Did you get it, by the way? Did you get the link?
What?
No, it just says here is all it says. There's no link involved.
You can attach it. Hold on. Shit. Sorry, keep going. Keep talking.
Well, no, I was just thinking about that because, you know, the new moon happens in the morning. So when the last waning crescent happens, it's right at dawn on that last part of the phase. Okay, so that waning crescent was in the night sky all night long. That thumbnail crescent that's just so beautiful. That's that Cheshire cat smile, and then it's right there in the morning, and then that's the last time you'll see it for the next 4 days. Okay, but every time for the next 4 days, the moon is in the morning. It rises with the sun at the same time. Okay, you're welcome. And
did you get it?
So the eclipse on the new moon next Monday should happen right at dawn, because that's when the moon is right next to the sun. So if the eclipse happens at any other point in the day and it's not dawn, it's not the fucking moon.
Well, maybe this is why NASA's firing rockets at it. But you know what else is happening? trillions and trillions of cicada bugs or whatever they're called are going to be coming out of the ground swarming like the plague. Did you see my thing in chat?
Yeah.
April Fools. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Oh my God, that was brilliant. That was really good.
I just woke up and I'm like, can I be an asshole right away?
Oh man, cheers to you, dude. That was actually really well played.
Sorry.
I think it's.
I know better than to look at the pictures until I hear
it's
someone else look at it first.
It's a safe picture, I'll tell you that. This one.
Okay.
No. This is a big event. There's too many things that are lining up, and you know it's funny, like, because I kind of think of the firmament and the flat Earth and all that as some kind of machine, right? Like a mechanized, mechanical application in a sense, right? It's designed a certain way to produce certain events for us to see things certain ways. Even quantum. It's all a really grand illusion, and maybe all these synchronicities have like come together to where you're seeing something that shouldn't. It's just this one point where everything, and there's a conjunction of all these mechanics lining up, and we're unfortunately there's no way to cover it up. Like maybe when they, say, how we talk about the mud floods and all that.
Yep.
And there's a whole different world only 200 years ago. So maybe when they set things in motion for now, like when you first start a watch or something, if you set it to noon, like the hands are over each other at high noon. That's what I'm getting at. Maybe all these things are lining up and there's nowhere to hide it because it's a 200-year cycle, and this is what happens. For a brief period, all these things happen and people will see it and there's no way to hide it. So then you have to create other events and distractions and all the shit, so people it's out of their memory right away and they're not recording it for posterity, for history. But now with everybody having cell phones and everything else, I think whatever's happening, there's going to be so much friggin' recorded evidence,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of going to Burlington, Vermont.
Nice, because all that evidence could be wiped away with a push of a button.
With an EMP now.
Mm-hmm. And nothing is stored on film anymore. I mean, who's walking around with an actual camera that uses, film to record video or anything like that? Everything would be destroyed.
Remember the scanners in the 90s and even in the early 2000s? They had attachments. Some of them had, the higher end scanners, flatbed scanners had attachments for film, and you could transfer all your film over to digital.
Oh yeah. But yeah, we've set it up to where all of our, recent history that's, collected by the masses, not the stuff you find in the school books, but the actual history could all be wiped out. Like every video we have here on the YouTubes and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they could make most computers obsolete by just pushing a button. Unless you have a really good Faraday cage around yourself.
Right.
That computer's toast. And what good is a computer if nobody else has a computer? I mean, if you can't communicate with other people with it, then it's kind of like just having an old home computer back in the early 90s.
Not much of a net. There's only one.
Yeah, exactly. Not a web if there's only one strand, right? Yeah, it's wild. Now, could all of this have happened before as well? Could we have had this technology right before, if there is a reset? do they only let the technology get so far each time? Like, yeah, we're going to let this out, and then in 50 years we'll let this back out, and then we'll let this one back out. The whole time they have all that technology and more. But to keep us here and, ignorant, they can only allow us to have technology up to a certain point. They can't even really explain how it works accurately. Because if they do that, smart people will figure out, hey, why don't we just do it this way?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if you're here to run this place and, keep people dumbed down and this and that, they do a pretty good job at it. Can't deny it. They're really good.
Every video game you play, like, as you go up in levels, just like Tetris, it either gets faster or the amount of things that you're trying to maintain, like you say, it becomes more voluminous, right? There's more of it. And so it gets harder and harder and harder and harder until you're overwhelmed by it. And I look at the population like that. Like the time of Jesus only had 200 million people on the planet. In 2000, we only had 1 billion people on the planet. Now we have over 8 billion in just 100 and something years after that. And so not just managing resources, but managing media and information and group consensus thought, 100th monkey theory things and things popping off. How do you manage it all? And it's got to be a reset of some sort.
Yeah, as soon as you get things like Quiet on the Set coming out and P. Diddy being the Black Jeffrey Epstein, the reset's coming.
Yeah.
Like, it's just about boggles my mind. One more thing that I never thought would be so openly spoken about.
And you know what? All that too could be partly, like you say, Quiet on the Set. It could be the next act. And so that while everybody like Kate Middleton, she's missing since whenever, and a lot of other celebrities who we're told was brought to get on all this other shit could be quietly living and getting ready in their bunkers, just like Leave the World Behind with Julia Roberts, all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
While we're all here scrambling or, looking at this stuff like fascinated, like it's all entertainment. Every day there's a new event and they're just quietly sneaking out the back door.
So,
because we never seen anything come of the Epstein case. I don't think we're going to see anything coming out of this P. Diddy shit.
Probably not. I mean, it's interesting, again, that they got this Dan Schneider out there and all this Nickelodeon stuff, especially as it directly relates to Epstein and, I don't know, just weird stuff, the abuse of the young children. Again, it's hard to believe that it's all coming out.
Last night, I'm going to watch it today. I just downloaded those episodes.
I've not even seen it, but even know where to get it. I've just caught a glimpse of little things here and there.
I can put it up on a WeTransfer link for you.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, please.
Weird thing is, they have to have low-lying fruits. So when they have these busts, you always hear these crazy, the feds and special forces and all this bullshit, former SEALs busted 200 people in this fucking neighborhood. Like that woman with the $8 million. She only gathered like $8 to $12 million. She organized all these people all over the country to rob different stores.
Uh-huh.
You see, it was her and her husband. They look like white trash. Low-lying fruits. They're nobodies.
Yep.
What did you really bust? How many years of resources and surveillance and all this other shit? But you never get one politician. You never get one Kevin Spacey.
All right. Funny how that works.
Hey, just real quick, have you guys seen the new series by Guy Ritchie, The Gentleman?
No.
Okay.
Actually, I
okay. Please.
I have. Yes.
Okay. Well, please, if you haven't, please try to watch it. Let's talk about it next time because it's a doozy. I want to talk about it.
The Gentleman.
Yeah, it's an amazing. If you haven't seen the movie with Matthew McConaughey, you can watch the movie separate. They're not related per se in terms of timelines and whatnot. But yeah, so there was a movie. And then now there was a series. Huh?
So it is that time. And
love y'all.
Love you guys. Yeah. It's a great way to start your week. Thanks for helping the time fly by. Always a great conversation. Tune in for more on Wednesday morning. And again on Friday morning. Kick it off at 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Since you're over there at freeworld.fm. Or if you want to sit through some shoddy audio, you can stay here on YouTube. Do occasionally show an occasional visual. But until then, you guys have a great rest of your week. Be good, be well, do good, and do it well. We love you.